I'm sorry, I can't take time away from my family.
Yeah, well, I understand. It's the most important thing in the world. What obligations do you have that require you to be home so much?
Well, I do have to be at home in the evenings with my children.
Sure, sure. You have a 40-hour work week currently?
Yes.
Is that the dream scenario for you, or would you prefer maybe to be home earlier where you had time with the kids at school or after school?
Ideally, not the dream scenario. I would like to be able to be there for some after-school activities, to be able to take my children to school and pick them up.
Yeah, sure. I have 2 little ones myself, so believe me, I relate totally to that. Let me ask you this. If you could take a look at maybe investing just 3 or 4 hours a week in something that potentially maybe 12, 18 months down the road, you could be in that situation where you'd have that 40-hour work week eliminated. Maybe you could be around the children at school time. Require maybe a 2 or 3, 4 hour a week commitment now. Would you at least be open to taking a look at exploring what those possibilities might be?
Sure.
Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we at least take a look? It doesn't hurt to look. We're having a meeting either next Monday night or Wednesday night. Either one of those would work for me. I'd be glad to meet you there. What one would work for you?
Monday night would be great.
Okay, would 6-ish be okay for you, 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we do that? We'll invest a couple hours and we'll just see where it goes, because like you said, you're not in your dream scenario. Maybe there's a way we can get you out of this where you are home having more time with the family. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay, good. Let's do that. Okay, I want you to notice a couple things that we did there. One was I confirmed the objection again. I can't emphasize that enough. And I asked a question to get to the real objection. The real objection really wasn't that she didn't have enough time. Most times people won't reveal the real objection. The real thing that we uncovered there is how important time with her family was. And as you notice, I began to match a little bit her pace. I spoke in a little bit more quiet way. If you notice there, I slowed down a little bit. And I asked questions because I found out the priority there was really family. So if I could position family as the priority for our business, at least taking a look, oftentimes people will say yes. One other strategy there is minimization. Not asking for such a big commitment before somebody's explored. One of the mistakes recruiters make, or even people make when it relates to field training, is asking for everything before they've even looked. She's not willing to make a major commitment of time because she doesn't even know what this is yet. So I reduced what we're willing to do. Now we weren't talking about making a career change necessarily when you said you didn't have time to do a business. I reduced it down to, doesn't it make sense to at least look for a couple hours? And I reduced the amount of time required, which was 2 or 3, 4 hours a week. Reducing the commitment opens up the prospect or possibility of getting a positive result, because when you say start a business, they're thinking about lots of hours, tons of work. There's no context for them to make a decision, and so going right to reducing it down to a smaller commitment typically gives you a chance to at least make a presentation.